So, the president for Kenya Guild, you know, I saw this word guild, and because I schooled in at the coast, you know, English sometimes becomes a challenge. Tumezoea Kiswahili. So I looked at the meaning and I saw it's an association of craftsmen or merchants often having a considerable power. The modern definition of guild, a group of species that have similar requirements and play a role within a community. So I don't know which one you belong to. So the president of the Editors Guild, Chachi Otieno, I started engaging him almost 8 months ago. We had planned for this event, and then unfortunately, COVID came. We got confused and disoriented. The commissioners, the two ladies commissioner, I don't know whether it was by default that the male commissioners decided to shy off, because the three other commissioners, the chairman, of course the chairman told me he was somehow not feeling well. Dr. Dabar is not around, Commissioner Gachoka is not around, they have apologized. The two commissioners, the members of the guild, the secretary CEO, the Kenya Guild's, Kenya Editors Guild, that is Miss Omungo, the one who was not picked properly by the vice. You know, for me, I can be easily picked. Maybe let me divert a little bit. When I joined the army, I am one of the cadets that suffered a lot. Because if we jump the wall and go to the club at night, wanasema tumono le cadet muhindi. Wametoroga cadets. So it was very rough. I could not hide. When we were doing parades, if I don't move out properly, mguu imetoka kombo, wanasema hii muhindi ametoa mguu makosa. It was rough. So sometimes it has an advantage of being picked very fast. So members of the Fourth Estate, I can see who is who here. I've seen Emmanuel Juma. You know Emmanuel Juma, he was one of the pioneers of KTN when the first private station came around. That was 1989. Him with Njoroge Mwaura, Farida Karonei. You know, us we are the people who saw the television when it was in black and white. Ilikuwa inafungula saa 11, inafungwa saa 4 usiku. Weekend inafungula saa 9. Half of the news is about the president. On Sunday, we must be shown he has gone to church and everything. Things have really changed nowadays. Yeah? TV channel, you can get about 100, 150 channels. So ladies and gentlemen, I have a written speech here. I don't know whether I should go through this written speech or I should cover what Paul said. What is your choice? Me, I used to be an instructor. Public speaking is not a problem. Which one do we choose? Both. Okay. Because I told him nitamgonga. He has asked very good questions, but there's also an element of ignorance on his side. Some of the questions, they are based on ignorance. Some of the questions are based on facts. As a commission, we have challenges, we have gains. Unfortunately, the media, the way I look at it, because I'm now 2 years old since I joined the commission, the media has been busy looking for anti-corruption celebrities rather than anti-corruption fighters. And that is why you find EACC. I'll give a good example. There was a day I watched a talk show, 1 hour talk show on graft, the situation, the corruption in Kenya. It was being aired by a very, very prominent TV station. They were interviewing the DPP on the state of corruption in the country. And to my surprise, I was shocked for 60 minutes, including the advert. That particular journalist never uttered a word EACC. He never uttered a word. Hata accidentally tu ajikune ikasema EACC. Hakufanya. He never mentioned the word EACC. Never. And that is why I have a case with you people as a CEO. And they mentioned other agencies. I don't want to mention names. And they talked about those agencies. But I want to tell you, I keep on insisting I am from the military. That is my background. I served in the army for 16 years, from the age of 18 to 34 years. And that's why you find sometimes my character is so military, because that is how I was socialized. And in the military, we don't talk about perception. We talk about facts. And I want to task you, as I answer Paul, I want to task you as journalist. You go out there, go and ask the DPP, those corruption files you have, what percentage are from EACC? If he tells you those from EACC are 90%, 10% they're from other organizations, I will resign. Over 95% of corruption cases, files with the DPP are from EACC. So you see a journalist having a talk show in a very, very respected media house. For 1 clean hour, he does not utter the word EACC. How do we feel as EACC staff? Paul, do you expect us to be very cooperative? We shy away from you people. If we give a journalist very important information about a certain hotel for coverage, the next day, hiyo article inatoka zile cuttings zile za kando kando zinaitwa nini? How do you call them, you journalist? Hii huko kando kando kuna advertisement inatoka toka hapa chini mingi. Yeah? Fillers. Inawekwa kama hiyo. Then I was wondering what is happening. This is so good. I give it to another journalist of a media house. The second day is a headline in that media house. I'm an intelligence officer. When I check, oli haribu. Huyo ni mtu fulani. Imekaliwa. You see how corruption is? It's within the entire society. It is spread. You are not spared, we are not spared. You argue that our officers are corrupt. And I want to be very clear about this matter. There are 3 aspects when it comes to accusation of corruption to the EACC. 1, there are a lot of conmen out there with even business cards purporting to be investigators from EACC. They are so smart that they will even write you, they will even call you and ask you, can we meet at Sarova? When you meet at Sarova, they will even buy you lunch and they will tell you, sir, you know our ethics does not allow us to be bought lunch, we shall pay ourselves. And they're conmen. And you part with money. Yeah. I'm told of a senior guy that has been charged who made noise that he has realized he was conned after parting with money. Then we have another aspect of it. We have backlog. EACC is overstretched. We have the capacity, but we are overstretched. And I've talked about it when I was being vetted. You have talked about a case in Britain taking I don't know how many months. The Serious Fraud Office, I've been there. The Serious Fraud Office has got a threshold of cases that it handles on corruption. Our act says, even that cousin of mine in Kilifi, if he complains of a bribe of 500 shilling, I must investigate and I must close the file and submit it to the DPP. Is it viable? A complaint from Lamu, somebody has taken 1,000 shilling. I need to take 2 or 3 investigators. We don't do investigation using one person because he can be compromised or he can be accused to have been compromised. So we tell them, on your writing statement when you're investigating, it must be 2 and above. Would you pay these guys per DM or book them jumbo jet per DM to go and investigate a case of 1,000 shilling? We get about 3,500 cases per year. 3,500 cases. Paul has talked of why is Chicken Gate still not have been dealt with. I said there was an element of ignorance on his side. Paul, Chicken Gate is in court. When you are talking of delays, we can do nothing. We have arrested governors. By the way, if today I'm dropped as the CEO EACC, there's one thing that I'll be very proud of. I've made history. In 2 weeks, I arrested 3 governors. In 2 weeks. I don't know if there'll be any I don't know, maybe there'll be somebody who will come more aggressive than me, but I can tell you, I arrested 3 governors in 2 weeks. there are 9 governors charged. There are more governors in trouble. Yeah? Because the problem in this country is that most of these governors are not accountable. It is just like a chemistry activity series. Potassium up to gold, the least reactive. So most of them are like that. You have the super crooks and it goes down like that. So quite a number of them, we are investigating them. But people are forgetting. It is a process. When I joined the commission, I saw a lot of petition. Abdi, you remember we were petitioned and appeared before the Senate about Lake Basin Development Authority. It took about 4 years to investigate that case. Because you can do an investigation and the case remains just 50% of it. I mean, only 5% of it. The lawyers tell you, if you don't get this document, this case is not going anywhere. Corruption cases, they collapse not because people are not guilty or guilty. The defense lawyers look for technicalities. Are we together? They look for technicalities. And that is where you lose the case. So when the lawyers in EACC tells you, this case, without this document, you are going nowhere, what do? EACC, we don't rush people to court. We have facts. We get facts. I have over 90 lawyers. My forensic investigation department has got about 30 officers, young officers who are CPA Kenya. So sisi sio tokota makaratasi na kuchambua kama kubahatisha. We look at things critically. When we tell you there's a problem with you, start going to church daily or the mosque. Hatutakuacha, we'll get you. Because these young people, young men and girls, ladies, they will look into each and everything and they will get something out of you. We have the capacity, we have trained, but we're overstretched. We have challenges. We have the issue when people say, hamjafunga watu. There's a process. When I'm done with a file, I take it to the DPP. The DPP looked at the file. He also is overwhelmed. In fact, he has really tried that. He has really improved in the number of the prosecutors, the Nurdin. He has really tried. But you see, if I can quote him, he's supposed to deal with all cases, including uchawi. Sasa. All the cases, including witchcraft. So we need capacity building of the institutions. Are we together? We need capacity building. And then we look at issues to deal with other factors that contribute to the state of corruption in this country. Paul has just talked about equipment being inflated. How sure are you about these roads that have been constructed in the last 15 years? Do you know how much was inflated? Do you have the capacity as lawyers to know that? You don't know. So there are so many ways that corruption is practiced, but you need a lot of expertise. You need a lot of capacity. When you look at issues to deal with the wealth declaration, I'm running away from the speech here. If you look at the wealth declaration, where is the problem? Anybody who can guess? The problem started with the mutilation of the chapter 6 of the Constitution. Who did that? Parliament. Who elected the parliamentarians? Sasa kwani unalaumu mimi atifanyi kazi? Yeah, it's the parliament that clipped the chapter 6 of the Constitution. The initial draft was, but it's a problem. When we complain governors are stealing or they are not accountable, are these governors nominated or elected? Yes, I don't want to talk the personality of some of them. You know them. Yeah? But they were elected by citizens. How do we counter that? So it's a cycle that you need to look at the political culture. And I can tell you, we are going to the next election in the next 2 years. Now people will really look on how to steal. Because they say globally, if you look at a country like Japan, on many occasions you find the prime minister when he resigns. What would be the reason? Corruption scandal or health. Abe left because of health, the outgoing prime minister. But on many occasions, if you look at Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, most of these developed East Asian countries, you find that the leadership resigns because of corruption. The big question is that elections, during elections. I keep on saying, how many of you have seen a political party going to the bank to take loan for campaign? In the world, have you seen a political party going to a bank? Say, we are going for election, we want $1 billion. But if you look at all over the world, how much money is being consumed for campaigns? Have you asked which is the source? American, they will say it's lobbying. Friends of Republicans, friends of Democrats. It's like that globally. But if you look deep, you'll find there are some things. So the political culture must change. Today, if you want to be an MCA, you want to be an MP, you have to risk one thing. You make it, or you do what? Completely. Unaweza toka Karen umalizikie hata kwa Ngware is better umalizikie Kayole mzuri utamalizikia hapa inaitwaje hapa Mathare North. You'll be completely broke. When you come back, you have to two things: how to recoup your money and how to fight the next battle. So the political culture needs to be addressed. When you talk of the issues to deal with the gains, the Constitution is one of the biggest weapons in the fight against corruption. And I've talked about the Chapter 6 of the Constitution. We hope that with the coming changes that are anticipated, whatever, I don't want to talk about politics, maybe it will be strengthened, and it will assist a lot the Commission in the fight against corruption. When you talk of legislation, we have gaps. We have gaps, and it becomes very difficult, some of these things, especially vetting of staff. You know, you yourself here, you know each other. If I ask about one person here, 6 of you, and then I write, then I look at all what you have written, I'll be able to know whether I'm dealing with a crook, an imposter, somebody who is a go-getter, or somebody who is an introvert, an extrovert. I'll be able to get. Likewise, in the vetting, most of the time, our vetting system is not based on empirical measures. They are more of qualitative. And the problem with that is one, if we write as a commission that we hear this guy was in this organization, but alifanya blanda akatoka. Alifanya blanda akatoka. Once we write that, that guy can take us to court. Was I convicted? Defamation. So you see the loophole. So in the course of that, you end up having some crooks getting into the position of leadership. So we are talking of, we have challenges as a commission in terms of capacity. How do we address these issues? We have decided as a strategy to look at high impact cases. And the person who was trying to address me here, he was saying that we are leaving some people and leaving others. So if I can arrest 9 governors out of 47, and you're telling me I'm not working, nataka kipara yangu ifike huko. Hii kipara sasa iko hapa. If you wanted to reach here, you see, we have gains. We have done a lot. We get about 3,500 complaints as a commission. And because of that, since we know there is a capacity problem, we have decided to divide our strategy into the issue of high impact investigations. And as at now, this commission has concluded about 844 cases within a period of 5 years. And it takes time to do an investigation. We have 9 governors who are before court. The issue of them coming through revolving door of the commission and they are still moving around, it's a court process. It's a court process, and we are not living in Mars. We are living on Earth. Every Kenyan will tell you a court case in Kenya takes long. How long, roughly? We repossessed the meteorological land in South B, the 53 acres that we won about 2 months ago. That case was launched in 2009 when I was working with the Kenya Corruption Commission. I left the commission, I went to Kengen, 8.5 years. I have served almost 1.5 years in EACC is when the ruling is coming out. and it's a civil case. We have over 350 pending cases before court, both criminal and civil recoveries. And they take time. And one of the biggest disadvantages of a case derailing in court is one. Mnajua, witnesses, they die, they abort, they disappear, they get exhausted. And the law is very clear. You cannot force somebody to become a witness. Anakwambia mimi nimeenda mara 10, hata siku nyingine nimeenda hapo nikamwambia jaji hajakuja, magistrate hajakuja, mzee mimi nimechoka. What do you do? The case collapse. These are the challenges that we face. So Paul and the rest, is not our wish to see these cases getting taking longer to be I mean for conviction or prosecution to go on. And I want to correct you. When you said EACC normally says we are not ready for the case, hapo umedanganya. Kuna kitu kama hiyo. We have never complained that we are not ready. Maybe other agencies. But EACC, when we decide to charge you, we have everything. Abdi, am I wrong? Yeah, so, Paul, I'm dismissing you on that. Sorry, I'm becoming too personal, but I'm dismissing you on that. I think next time when you come here, you'll do a lot of research before you come to this podium. So, we are talking of a case like Lake Basin Development Authority. This is a case of about 1.5 billion shillings. We are making noise now saying, oh, KEMSA, this has happened, but we are not seeing the positive aspect of it. There was almost further contracts of about how much? 9 billion. That was to continue. When the media and the EACC highlighted, now here we are coming in, partnership. Yeah? In fact, one newspaper had published about KEMSA, and they were shameless that the second day, they had put an advert to dismiss what that newspaper wrote. This is how shameless crooks are. They had put an advert to say, they dismissed. It was one of the newspapers that wrote about KEMSA. There was this and that and that. But in between, a lot of those letters of award were cancelled. So about 9 billion was not lost as a result of disruption. And unfortunately, the media does not look at disruption. The media looks at when thieves have stolen, they have money in their pockets, and when you arrest, they say, oh, this is a good boy, he has arrested. But that is being reactive. We want to be proactive. And you can see the media played a role in averting the loss of 9 billion in KEMSA. Although initially they pretended to be smart and aggressive, they had put advert and some figures, but it came to the attention of the public that there was something wrong going on in KEMSA, and the 9 billion was saved. So what we are saying is that the media can partner with EACC and other enforcement agencies to do a lot of sensitization, disruption, and when Churchill, the president, said that we are a closed society, sometimes we are scared of the media. Sometimes we are scared of the media. There was a time I was interviewed and I was asked, how many counties are you investigating? I said 4 counties. The next day, the headline of the newspaper was EACC to arrest 4 governors. Sasa mimi nimesema, we are investigating 4 counties. Headline, EACC said is going to arrest 4 governors. But we understand you know you're in business and you want to make money. We understand that. But as a CEO, I'm very cautious sometimes because I say, hawa wataenda kuandika vitu nyingine. Headlines. I said we are investigating 4 counties. The headline in the morning, 4 governors to be arrested. So sometimes we also fear. And then investigations. We are very mean with information when investigations are ongoing. You give some sort of information, and then you hear a certain county, there is fire in the county office. Lakini hiyo moto ni very interesting. Hii moto imewaka hapa, procurement office, ikaruka office ya health, ikaruka office ya education, ikaenda kashika finance. How? Sabotage. So sometimes when we give you a lot of information, there is a problem of compromising or the criminals taking preventive measures on their side. So we have cases on recoveries as a commission. We also have, when you say that we are doing nothing, sometimes you don't have facts. Out of the 244 concluded cases of corruption, 153 have got conviction. I know the next question you'll ask me, the impact, how big? They take time. We have cases and they take time. So on the second strategy, we are looking at what Paula has talked about here, the asset tracing and asset recovery. And asset tracing and asset recovery can be achieved by what we call automation of government services. When you automate a lot, corruption automatically goes down. 20 years ago, if you want a passport, you have to go and queue at Nyayo House. And you'll find maybe the receptionist or the accountant there is not around. As usual, tuona koti imekaa lakini ametoka. Then he will come at 4:30 and the queue is about 30 people. You have to give something for you to pay. Imagine you are bribing to pay. Nowadays with the e-citizen, those are things of the past. So we have to automate a lot. We have to automate our land registry. We have to automate, I don't want to talk about the Huduma number, but to me, I know the Americans, they have what we call the National Social Security number. That is everything about you. So when you commit a crime, if it is burglary, they come and get the fingerprinting. Fingerprints are automated. Wanaona hapa Twalib Mbarak, nani kuna Twalib Hussein, nani wanasema let us zero on these 5. When they zero out the 5 people, they check. Hii moja ametoka Northeastern, huyu, oh, this incident imetokea Mombasa, huyu mtu ni mtu wa Mombasa. They check your credit card. When did you do last transaction? Automation. They see ulikuwa nyali hapo ukitia mafuta. Wanasema this is the prime suspect. One day they arrest you. But here becomes a problem because automation is a problem. So when we automate a lot of system, we'll address the issue of corruption. We are talking of gains of assets by the Commission. We have never gained in terms of monetary recovery a lot, but we have recovered a lot when it comes to land. You remember very well, there was a time in this country whereby land grabbing was being glorified. So most of this land we are now trying to reclaim. We are having several court cases. We have reclaimed about 1,500 acres of land in Delamere. We have reclaimed the Woodley Estate. Again, the Woodley Estate, the case was filed in 2009. It was concluded last year. Was it early this year? Last year. So you can see 11 years down the line, and this was not a criminal case. It was just a civil recovery. We are also trying to, as a commission, we are pursuing on how to recover 2.5 billion from different public officers that are having assets that cannot be explained properly. And then we are looking at the prevention. Now, I'll go back to KEMSA and other agencies. If I'm not wrong, I think we did a system review of KEMSA as a commission. The problem with system review is that the EACC does system review, but we don't have power to enforce and take action if you don't abide by what we have recommended. And a classical example of this is the NYS 2. When NYS 1 happened, we sent officers, they did a system review, and we said the solution to NSIS is to become an autonomous government agency. But because kulikuwa na watu wanakulia hapo ndani, they refused. Then NYS 2 took place. Now they're implementing the recommendation of the EACC. But it is a goodwill, it is a gentleman's agreement. It is not binding. So we need laws that will bind us. When we do system review, you have to abide by that. Today, counties, I am dealing with a case in one county. The governor appointed, what do you call them, chief secretaries or what? There's a name for them. Yes. The requirement is a degree. you go and appoint somebody with a diploma in clearing and forwarding. Huh? So the impunity by the governors must be addressed. I am told some of them have got even termination letters for their senior officers. If you don't toe the line, they can sack you arbitrarily, and nobody can do anything. Yeah, the governors are mini sultans. They are mini kings. If he doesn't like you by face, he can sack you. You go home. They give their staff contracts. So those are some of the things that need to be addressed. Devolution is a very good concept. But instead of devolution for development, the priority has been devolution for corruption. Are we together? So we need to streamline a lot of systems rather than making a lot of noise. We can make noise. I don't mean that journalists should not write. You are doing a very good job. I interact with foreign dignitaries in this country, and they talk good about the media. They say Kenya is one of the very few countries in Africa where the media is very vibrant. Although pia mkono uko reno kidogo hapa chini. So, yeah, you are doing a very good job. You are doing a very good job. They acknowledge. I went to the World Bank, and one of the things they talk positive about Kenya is about the media. Say the media in Kenya is very vibrant. Yeah? Hapo mnakula credit. But usually, unajua mahali uko na watoto hivi lazima utakuwa mmoja anakuwa mkora hapo unapata kusumbua. So, when we are looking at proactive investigation in the disruption, it cannot be done by EACC alone. It will be done with the cooperation of the public and the media. You cannot exclude the media. Huh? So we are talking of system reviews. We are talking of verification of persons seeking appointments in public office. Today, I saw a big article on a certain guy who had forged his age by one of the local papers. From the introduction to the last, I never saw the word EACC. And we are the ones who caught him. Yeah? So unfortunately, we are not graft celebrities. The media say, kaeni kando. We have graft celebrities. When they do something small, you find headline, boom! Yes. Hii kipara haionekani sana. Inakuwa shida tu. So, a big article, it is in the Standard. Very big article about that guy of Tarda. Yes. We are the ones who unearth all those things. But Standard never wrote EACC. Hata mahali tu accidental yule jamaa anapiga andika tu EACC by accident. Hakuna. Yeah? Yeah. We address a lot of impunity in the public offices. When people are employed unethically, we write and say we want an explanation. When somebody is charged and is a head of a parastatal or a chairman, we write to the minister immediately. Can you suspend this guy? So we have a long way to fight corruption in this country. We've talked about the perception index. We have said we are from 143, I don't know, to 138. Still, is not the best. We want at least to slide to the 2-digit, to talk 100 and above. We are not doing very well, but we are trying. And we are talking of also anti-corruption activities and programs. I have never seen anybody from the big media houses to come and say, we want to see what you do in prevention. Because you say one of your mandates is prevention, but we don't know what you are doing. So we are telling you, we are open to criticism, we are open to that building. You can even plan, you come and visit from the top. The MPs did that. When there was this issue of how was this building acquired. They started from the top, my office, and they admired my office. Then we went all the way to the basement. So now this is the building that we are saying that it was bought without a title. This is the building. So sometimes we are to blame. Maybe we are becoming too restrictive, but also sometimes the media becomes too, I don't want to use the word hostile, but I've given you the example. Standard, that article here, Tarda, that 1 hour TV program where the DPP was being interviewed, and a very prominent journalist, I could not believe, he started all the way mentioning corruption celebrities, and EACC was just sidelined. So, what are the challenges that we are facing as a commission? we have several challenges. I don't believe in reading as if I'm a imam or a pastor. The Commission is facing a lot of challenges. First of all, the capacity. Oh, he's telling me 5 minutes. We are about 720 people cutting across the country. We have 11 offices in the regions. We have budget problem. Our budget is 3 billion. 70% of that budget goes to the recurrent expenditure, mishahara, whatever. Only 30% goes to the mandate, that is investigation, prevention, and education. And out of the three, 70% goes to investigation. You have to book the investigators per DM. You have to take them they have to take an air ticket. Some of the cases you have mentioned, like the one of the mess scandal, our officers had to go to South Africa. When the Mzungus were coming to give evidence, you have to book them in hotels and all those things. And sometimes you can be told, someone say, you are bribing. Why did you book him in a hotel? Sasa Mzungu anakuja kutoa ushahidi, utampeleka kwa Manyata. Huh? So we have a lot of challenges in terms of that. We have high staff turnover. If you look at the legal officers, to date, 13 High Court judges came from the Anti-Corruption Commission, including Fatuma Sichale, Smokin Wanjala, and quite a number of them. So our officers are very marketable. The officers who have done investigation causes with the FBI, with the Serious Fraud Office, with the Hong Kong Independent Anti-Corruption Commission, these are young people under 45, and they are poached by big banks. The head of the World Bank, in terms of governance, in charge of Sub-Saharan Africa, we are very proud. He used to be our staff. He was poached. So when you say we are overpaid, I want to tell you one of the problems we have with the high staff turnover. Then we have the political system. Sometimes when you arrest a governor or a personality, you are told by these people from the political side, they say, umetumwa na serikali. When you go on this side, these people say, oh, this CEO maybe is anti-government. But we are used to those kind of noises because we have to agree on one thing. Corruption and politics, they are very much what? Yeah. Because corruption and politics is all about power. And we are saying that when you give people responsibility, minus accountability, the end result is corruption. So I would like to thank you, and I look forward maybe in future we'll have more of these kind of meetings. We have no problem. Paul, where are you? Paul Akwapi? Ametoroka? Ambia Paul, you can make an effort to come and see me. We can discuss issues. I am very free, and I believe constructive criticism will help a lot in the Commission. We are not against the media, but we have also now been able to vent our concerns. Sometimes we feel munatukalia sana as EACC. But sasa from today, mufungue. Paul, I was saying that from here, make an effort to come and see me in the office. Kesho CJ. It is important because, by the way, I have some journalists that I know on one-to-one, and sometimes we tunagongana kabisa. Wanaambia hapana hii mmedanganya. Hata napiga simu, you know, I read newspaper at 4:30 in the morning. I wake up at 4. I usually sleep at midnight, 12, and by 4 o'clock I'm awake. I sleep for 4 hours, and I never doze in any meeting. Miss Ilali, that's how I was sacked in the military, and it is now in my blood. So with those many remarks and accusation and counter-accusation, I come to the end of this presentation. I don't know what is the next stage. Should I go and sit or should I take questions?
Wasn't that fire? Yeah. That was fire. I would actually like to be a fly on the wall.